Really wish you wouldn't think of those things.
Why?
Hello and welcome back to the New Old Furry podcast. I'm Rick, and if with me as always is the ever anomalous Kitthesoulless.
Damn it, that didn't work. Could you play it back again? I'm fucking with you, by the way.
I will murder you.
Hey,
Or
everybody.
ooh, ooh, not today, kid. Not today.
For those who don't know, this is our fourth attempt now to record this. We got about 10 minutes into this recording last time we attempted it, and OBS crashed on us. So, would
We're
you like to dare to do the intro?
I just
Well,
did
no,
the
not the
intro.
intro. Would you would you like to explain what we're going to be talking about?
Honestly, at this point, we're leaning more and more into Tech Hates Us version 2.0.
I think at this point it's just going to be a howling at the moon.
We're not dead,
We're
guys.
not
All right,
dead.
we're good. We'll see you next month. Have a good one.
And realistically, uh, to explain why we didn't have one last month,
It got
uh,
weird.
well, no, there was my trip to the Grand Canyon last month, and then you had some issues you had to take care of. I'll let you choose whether you
I
talk about that or
I had a lot of issues, not the least of which being I had to move.
yeah.
And
So we did not manage to get a fucking podcast recorded. Though, if I had thought about it, we probably could have done one on the phone when we were when we were at the hotel.
we could have done one in person. Oh, that's what you're talking about, isn't
That's
it?
exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I suppose we could have. But
Ah, that would have been a weird conversation because didn't we go very quickly into the this is what we had heard from the neighbors last night?
well, that was, this is what we heard from the neighbors last night. And then the week before, when we were staying in the same hotel on the way out to the Grand Canyon, we heard the same shit.
No, we didn't hear the same shit. Oh, wait, no. Uh it was a weird thing because I think I mentioned the
Y-
abusive dude and his wife and kid who were living in the hotel who was yelling at his wife, and I have a feeling his wife threw him into a wall.
Not surprising. I,
Not really.
uh, fun fact for people listening, it is possible to live in hotels.
Mm-hmm.
There are certain hotels that have extended stay situations.
Yep. Not a
Generally,
good way to live.
if your life is in a situation where you are living in a hotel for an extended stay, life has not gone your way.
Nope. Well, actually, no. There is the occasion where you have somebody. It's either life hasn't gone your way, or life has gone really, really your way. Because do remember, there are some extended stay places that cater to people who are staying a month in, like, Hawaii because they
You're
can
not
actually afford to do this.
you're not wrong about that. And 9 times out of 10, it's not that they can afford it. It's that the company that is paying them to be in Hawaii for a month can afford to pay that.
I mean, that or their life expectancy is short enough that they don't need to worry about having to pay it back.
I'd like to point out my bank account is fat enough it can support me right up until the moment I die, as long as I don't die mm, outside of a week.
Ugh. Live the life of a fly.
It would be simpler.
It would be simpler, but could you imagine a human that is uh born, grows up, finds a mate, has kids, and dies all within the span of what is it, 24 or 48 hours? That
Depends on the type of fly.
common housefly. I think it's 24 hours.
Common housefly, I believe it's 48. It's a very specific type of mayfly that is 24 hours.
Ah, either way, we're going to be ranting a little bit about just random shit that we've seen on Twitter or things that we've thought about recently or what have you. For the majority of this particular podcast, and we've got things that are probably we're going to be doing the old thing of we're on this topic. No, wait, that was a sudden left turn. No,
I'm gonna queue up yakety sax to follow the conversation.
Yeah, Kitty. What?
The Benny Hill chase theme.
Oh, god damn it.
Ah, uncultured swine.
Oh, hush. If you had made an Urkel reference, I would have gotten it immediately.
I'm sure you would have, but I am of a higher
I was
caliber
gonna,
of culture.
I was gonna say that sounds bad of you. Oh my god. Ah.
So, which topic of Twitter discourse would you like to start with exactly?
I don't know. Heads I win, tails you lose.
Well, no matter what, tails I lose. Seriously, people, I have a problem. I can't go to a furry con without buying a tail. It's becoming an issue.
Oh my god, the number of tails. He has, if memory serves, don't you have a fucking suitcase almost strictly for tails at this point?
Just because I could fill a suitcase with tails does not mean I bring a suitcase full of tails.
It- I'm this that's hey, for once you made me make the noise. You know what I mean.
No, it is not a suitcase full of tails and tails alone. There is also all of the arm sleeves, the paws,
The
the I think
council.
I get I think I have the foot paws in there, and at least two members of the council in there.
Mm. If you guys don't know what the council is, trust me, you don't want to know what it's like to have them staring at you. I can only imagine what that would be like having woken up to that.
It was mostly just apologizing a lot because I didn't wear that one, and that one was only on for like 5 minutes, and then I switched into that one, which I was in for like an hour, and part of that was having to hold the tail up because the floor was sticky.
Yeah, then there was that moment where you let one of them just flat out be a whore for what was it 3 hours while the
That's
power
true.
was flickering.
That that's true.
You were
He had
supposed to
fun.
correct me. He wasn't being a whore. He was being a slut. He didn't get.
You're right. Well,
See?
I was going to make the argument that he did get paid in the little bow that I put on his ear,
Oh, that's right.
but that was earlier in the day.
Yeah. I mean, Amp and Mr. Christopher would probably suggest treating your bottoms right and then taking them out. But okay.
Yeah. He got plenty of loving on in a different con that you weren't at. That may never happen again.
So I heard. Didn't he get a little bit more
You're going to have to clarify that statement.
new bits?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Uh, it-
excuse me.
well, yes, new bits were purchased.
I was wondering if he was the one that they were for,
I mean, they would work for him.
or are they more of a universal, the council's
There,
penis?
it's it. It can be shared by two of them. Jesus Christ!
It
Thanks
can
for
be
reminding
shared
me
by
how
two
many of
of
the
them.
fuckers there are.
Yeah, I know, but still. That would be one of these days we've got to get something commissioned for you that is just the council's penis.
All I can think
And
of is
how has
the
this become a topic?
that that this is how the conversations go, man. As I said, cue up yakety sax.
Oh. Anyways,
Anyways,
we've got a lot of shit to talk about. So which one of the Twitter things are we doing?
considering I'm sitting here drink in hand, let's go ahead and start with the alcoholism is not a personality trait.
Oh fuck yeah, no. There's been a huge problem with younger furs, especially in the convention circuit, but I see it a lot on making alcohol a part of their personality or the fact that they consume an excessive amount a part of their personality without considering it a flaw.
At this point, I have to point out it's not just the younger generation. The older generation has been doing it from time in memoriam.
It's I will point out it is a little more common at least in the fandom than it was when we
Well, I mean,
but not by any massive mark. Because you're right, it, our community's always had a problem with alcohol.
well, our community's always had a problem with partying
Yeah,
in whatever method they choose to partake in, be it alcohol or various drugs of various natures,
excuse me
uppers,
one
downers,
moment, please.
sidewaysers. Really,
What?
this is why I drink.
Aren't we just a lovely pair?
Ain't
He
that the way of the world?
he drinks, I smoke. Together we make two halves of a whole addict.
That's about right. Uh,
No, no. If between us we can play a decent hand of Texas Hold'em, then we've become the two halves of a professional gambler. Smokes like a
that's
chimney,
fair.
drinks like a fish, and a hand of cards.
I could play a mean hand of cards by myself. It's generally just mean to me.
Yeah, kind of not the mean I meant, but I guess it works.
Yeah, you have to be very specific when talking to me. Haven't you learned this?
Yeah, you're a little bit like a genie.
I, I,
What? I have to
I,
be
I was
specific about the ways I want to be tortured.
I was about to say I don't make wishes come true, and then it dawned on me I was talking about earlier just dropping $1,000 on a total stranger. Why? Because I can.
Yep. Mr. bought somebody a fursuit because they were looking at it in awe, and you had the
I still regret that one. That
eh.
fursuit could have gone to a way better person.
I mean, she still enjoys her.
I'd hope so.
Yeah. Uh, but still, it's what were we? My brain just died there for a second, apparently.
Step number two, the argument that, but you smoke all the time, and the counter argument of weed is so much better for you than alcohol.
Oh God, yeah,
I
no,
present
no.
Exhibit A.
This is actually one of the reasons why I was taking a hit today, for this is because apparently somebody that Rick found on what was it, Twitter?
It's all on
It's
Twitter.
it's always Twitter. It's always Twitter. Uh,
If it's not Twitter, it's Facebook with a screen cap of Twitter.
that or it's Tumblr from the good old bad days.
I will admit with a small amount of pride on this one, I was never on Tumblr.
Neither was I. Legitimately, I think I went on it for all of like 10 minutes to look at the.
Porn.
No, actually, it was more of a come look at the freaks moment. I hate to say it, but it was.
I will say I did stumble into Tumblr on occasion,
There was.
specifically in my search for porn.
I cannot for the life of me remember their name, but it was a Therian preacher who it turned out like 4 years later they discovered that he had been completely off his rocker. 99% of the shit he had been spewing was hallucinations. Dude's still a Therian, still religious, but somehow went from uh 90s TV stereotypical black preacher to like Mormon preacher. If anybody gets that, by the way, I'm gonna laugh. I went off on a tangent, didn't I?
A little bit. I'm not sure why. I'm trying to piece together why we went from going on to Tumblr for porn to Therian Preacher going
Oh,
crazy.
yeah, no. Some of the shit this guy was talking about, this is what got me on Tumblr for like 10 minutes reading through his shit. This guy talked about going through a forest of fucking like crystals of some kind. This is actually one of the things that gave me the idea for making the Ethereum the way it is. Uh this dude had been literally like completely out of your mind hallucinating for years and had lived so long in a massive hallucination that he was convinced it was all real. So you got to read in real time, essentially, as he posted, the rantings of a madman who was convinced he was talking to a wandering god.
Uh,
This was the kind of thing that was fairly common on Tumblr, sadly.
You say sadly. I'm willing to bet it would not take much for me to find this on Twitter. The thing is, I just have to.
No, probably be the same thing, but with some crazy cat lady thinking her cat is the reincarnation.
I was
MySpace
going
would
to.
just be Jesus is in my flapjacks, and somebody took a fucking wood burning kit to their.
I was going to make a Son of Sam reference, but I don't think anyone will get that.
I'm fairly certain no one will get that. I'm fairly certain people our age would it would probably be a 50-50 toss up whether or not they get that.
Most of the people our age wouldn't get it. It you get it because you, much like myself, are weird with what information you collect. I get it because for 10 months straight, I carpooled with a guy who's the age of my parents, and we had nothing to do but talk. And
That's
we
the
talk about
thing.
some strange things.
That's the thing. Most of my childhood, the reason I have that amount of knowledge or that kind of knowledge is because most of my childhood I did not fit in with people my age. I hung out with older individuals. I shit you not. I actually hung out with my great grandmother's bridge club, which I'm sorry if it was a really in group of people.
Knowing your family history,
It's the
that's all I'm
friends
going to
my
say about it.
no, it's the friends my great grandmother had because she collected the most colorful array of people. I'm sorry, one of them was a guy that we called my uncle, who was my introduction to the concept of what does it mean to be gay? And no, not like that. This dude was a drag queen and was absolutely flaming 24/7. Wore really outlandish clothing, I shit you not, when I first met this guy, I was like 10, and the only reason I asked who the heck that was because here's this dude walking down a freaking hall with my great grandmother in a neon pink 3-piece suit and top hat.
Was the
Was
jacket open or closed?
closed.
Wearing a three-piece suit wrong.
Eh. I don't know if it was a 3-piece suit either. It was just it looked like a nice suit, but fucking not neon pink either, by the way. I had it wrong. It was hot pink. It was just they were strange but fun people.
Welcome to a peek behind the curtain of why is Kit the way he is.
Oh, shut up.
Anyone who's interested in the full story of why Kit is the way he is, good
Feel free
luck.
to ask. Expect to be sitting there for a good 10 hours.
I've been working on it for the last 5 years.
You've never flat out asked me why, though.
No, because a flat out ask will give me an answer that is tailored.
Not really. I'm fucking terrifyingly blunt with why I am the way I am.
Oh, I'm aware of it. However,
I've had a
willing
fucked
to
up
bet
life.
I'm willing to bet if I asked you, you would give me a 10-hour spiel, most of which I've already heard through one way or another and know more details about than in your 10-hour spiel.
Probably, yeah.
Because I've been working on this for 5 years. Good luck, motherfuckers.
Eh.
Oh, hey, that was the first F bomb of the episode. By the way, this is not for kids.
We're 15 minutes in. Well, how did we go from being on top of this to letting this get this far? Everybody, for the record, this show is not for kids. If you are a minor and you are somehow still here after hearing about a flaming queen in a pink jumpsuit, who, by the way, I should point out, when I met the dude was like 92.
Jesus.
I know, right? He actually looked like a not slightly gay, a very gay Monopoly man.
Have a monocle.
No, he
Good.
had he had he had the big circular spectacles or spectacles, the rose pink, and well, y'all just understand or understood now why Tech doesn't like us. Hey Rick, I'd like to point out you may have died there.
No, unfortunately, I'm still alive.
No, I mean your audio. I,
I'm
I didn't hear
aware. I
anything you said because you
I
sounded a little bit like Megatron's left testicle.
how do you know what that sounds like, Kit?
Don't ask.
You played with all the very interesting Transformer toys, didn't you?
I mean, no, just a lot of really weird fan fiction. Reading it, by the way, not writing it.
I have to ask, was the main character Optimus Peen?
No, actually, it wasn't. I am a furry, and you do have to remember Transformers Beast Wars was a thing.
Mm, Optimus Prime was still a character in it.
Yes, so was Megatron. This is where the concept of the sound of Megatron's left testicle comes in.
What was Megatron in that?
T
You're
Rex.
right. He was in it, but he was?
T Rex.
It was a show about a gorilla versus a T Rex.
If
T
memory serves, it was a gorilla, a cheetah, and a rhino versus a scorpion, spider, and no, correction. It was uh spider. I don't think it was scorpion. I think it was spider, pterodactyl, and T-Rex.
if I recall correctly, because Beast Wars was not my show of choice, it was my best friend's show of choice. So I did absorb some through osmosis. The spider did a face heel turn and turned into the good guy.
Yeah, I'm talking about like season 1.
I'm aware of what you're talking about.
He did
Otherwise, I would
a
have.
about face, mostly because he got betrayed like 3 times.
No, that'll happen.
He was being abused. He got uh betrayed 3 times, and it finally just said, "Fuck it, I'm done. I'd rather stick with them and fuck your day over."
Okay, so how about hopping back on topic, shall we?
I mean, we could try.
Which,
Where were we?
we broached the topic of alcohol is not a personality trait,
Oh
then
yeah,
very
God,
quickly
no, it's
devolved.
not.
It it really isn't, and I admit, I fully admit, I'm part of the problem here.
Eh, all I can say is, this is a safe space. Why don't you tell us your name? How long have you
Hello,
been an addict?
hello. My name is Rick. I've been an addict for, let's see, I'm 31, so probably 30 years. Addicted to something at some point in my life.
I mean, oxygen's an addiction. It's the hardest one to break.
It's actually the easiest one to break. Thing
I was
is, no
gonna,
one's brave enough to do it.
I was actually gonna say it's the hardest one to break unless you're really determined or really, really have bad luck.
But the big thing that's been making the circles on the furry Twitter, because that's somehow different than regular Twitter.
Yeah, not
Uh,
by much.
uh,
We do
my
have
ex-
our own rendition of Donald Trump, though.
I'm not gonna ask. Nope. Nope.
I mean, you already
Nope.
know who I'm talking about.
It doesn't make a difference. I don't want to know.
We have
I could.
our snake in the grass reporters too. Dog Patch
Uh,
looking at you, bitch.
oh, we got plenty of those. No matter furry or not, you always have that.
Oh
It's
God,
almost
yeah.
like drama sells, and if you don't have any drama to actually sell, you can make shit up.
Drama sells right till you get jerked off in public by what was possibly a minor.
Not gonna ask.
dog
Don't want to know.
Dog Patch. That's all I'm saying.
Really don't
Anyways,
want to know still.
it, simply put though, if alcohol is becoming a large portion of your personality, you have a huge problem. And take
Yeah,
this from two people who know what the fuck addiction is. It's almost like we've dealt with it a couple times.
some of us have had to deal with the other one, with the addiction.
Yeah. I mean, we do that about 50-50 though.
I
I think you've been whirlwind drunk and needed help to your room or needed to be calmed down or what have you. About as many times as I've had a mental break or just contacted you whirlwind stoned and forgetting when I was.
That was not an issue there with the audio. He did say he forgot when he was.
Yep.
Believe me, it's difficult to get these very relevant facts when you're on a phone call with him.
Oh, yeah. That was not a good night for me. I think that was about as equally unpleasant for
If I recall correctly, I was pretty damn sober at that point, too.
you. Were pretty damn sober about the time I started throwing up.
That's about right.
I was stoned and plastered, and it was. I think that was actually shortly after the last time I had to deal with Otter.
Yes. I want to say yes on that one.
Yeah, because it was the time that it was. I contacted you and you were with family, and it was like 5 hours later. You asked, like, okay, what's up? My response was, had an issue. Do you remember your response?
Not offhand.
Wait, how are you doing? Fuck that. No. Are you okay?
That was three separate messages sent within
Like less than a second of each other.
uh, legitimately less than a minute between hit send. How are you doing? Oh, wait, fuck that. Literally typing this into my phone. I don't know why I was typing the stream of consciousness.
He knew I'd had a rough couple months, and I had asked if he had been available to talk, and he had said he was with his family. So the next thing he hears from me being, I had a thing, or I had a moment, kind of terrifying. This was also before I wound up getting put on my medication. It's almost like PTSD is a pain in the ass.
Surprise, surprise. Also, if you're listening to this, gentle reminder, if you have trauma in your past, alcohol is not the solution. Getting stoned is not the solution.
No, these are problems we're trying to fix and habits we're actively trying to break to some degree.
I've been doing very good for myself lately, controlling my alcoholism by not drinking, mostly.
I've been getting stoned off of my ass fairly often.
But since the first of the year, you did take an entire year off.
Yeah.
Don't downplay the fact that you were able to do that.
Oh God, yeah. And it wasn't because it was a I had to or anything. It was just determination. Uh, determination in the fact that I kind of didn't want to get back to where I was.
And in that year off, you have started new medication. You have seemed far more stable, and
Yep.
it,
When I
it's
do get
almost like
high, I don't get anywhere near as high. I usually stay more lucid.
I can make that argument.
Huh?
I could make an argument against that.
Oh, I'm fairly certain anybody could, and the fact that I'm still getting stoned is uh in of itself technically a problem. Uh but oh well. It's a habit I'll
It,
break again.
it's technically a problem, but I will state you are doing much better than you were at
Oh
the
yeah.
end of last year, or not last year, the year
Year before
before.
last uh when I couldn't taste my own eyelid.
I'd forgotten that was a phrase.
I know, right?
Uh,
And again, no, that wasn't an audio glitch. I did say taste my own eyelid. Uh if any of y'all are watching this remember a couple years back when I was not doing well, I was stoned out of my gourd most days for a couple months straight to a point where I could barely function. I'm pretty certain it was fairly obvious when I was stoned out of my mind. Uh, back when we were playing Sea of. Anyways,
this literally just became a fucking AA meeting.
a little bit. Although technically,
Uh,
wouldn't mine be NA?
AA is for addicts these days.
Yeah,
It's less Alcoholics Anonymous and more Addicts Anonymous.
yeah.
They're more inclusive these days. I don't know. Maybe one of these days I'll realize that, I'm killing myself with drinking as much as I do, even though I have dropped that number down significantly.
Oh god, yeah. Whatever makes you feel alive, or whatever makes you feel alive, is killing you. It's kind of the way the world works. But lowering that number down is definitely a good. And we have both managed to do that.
Yeah.
And at least I haven't touched a vape.
Well, unfortunately, that's something I did wander back to, but I have not put any nicotine in it, which is
Yeah.
weird. I just realized my vape is over there being charged out of reach.
You know what really is weird though?
A great many things.
Well, no, my
Start.
coping mechanism for vaping, but
I was gonna say start with the echidna penis and go from there.
uh
Did I break you?
is this turnabout's fair play moment? Really?
A little bit. A little bit. You
Now I
know what's
can't
really
stop
weird?
thinking about a kidney penis. Fuck off.
You know what's really weird? All right, let me show you that picture I sent you before we started this again.
You know what's gonna really suck is now a lot of people that are watching this are gonna probably Google a kidney penis. Please don't Google a kidney penis.
Or do. I mean, you're not kids based on our warning 15 minutes into this.
I know, but that thing is weird looking.
Yeah. And someone, I mean, honestly, I let's start a
It makes
comment
me
war
it makes me
and
think that somebody saw that and then created Cthulhu.
I want to start a comment war. Everyone down in the comments, I want you to list what you think the strangest looking penis on the planet Earth is. No, dildos are not peni.
No,
That is cheating. Did I break you?
fantasy-based dildos would be cheating. There are some that do get them to the right proportions,
No.
which that in and of itself is a scary thought.
I will point out that there is a new offshoot of the fantasy dildo. That is the science fiction dildo.
Oh no, are we gonna get into those again?
Insert random comment about them getting into you.
I don't want eggs for breakfast.
Not those.
Although you gotta admit, there is guaranteed a market for a xenomorph face hugger uh ovipositor.
I did bring it up to a maker at a very specific con who happened to be the guest of honor, along with what was the other one that I came up with? Oh yes, the fact that you can't find a good dragon turtle.
Damn.
They said, well, we know of one who is a contemporary of ours, and they make them, and here's their website, and you really don't want them. They're kind of crappy. So you see that there's an opening in the market. Yeah, but that's not our shtick. Dragon turtles are fantasy. We're sci-fi. I, I can't argue with their reasoning.
I mean, you could, but not well.
They're very forthcoming about what they make and why.
Yeah.
Apparently, every one of the dicks they have made has a place in their sci-fi world that they have full-on lore written about.
I forgot that some dick makers do that. By the way, it has dawned on me.
Mm.
We have gone from we have no idea what we're doing to come one, come all, come see the freaks to uh intoxicants are not a personality trait or a personality to dicks, you know them, you love them. Here's the themes.
To be fair, we weren't specifically talking about dicks.
No, we were talking about the themes. Dildo
That's true.
manufacturers theme.
That is true.
Which that reminds me, we've got to record another one of these and
Oh
go
dear
back to
God.
that one website and sit there and just discuss their toys.
We do not need to go back to crack.com
No, not
and 10.
crack.com, not crack.com. I'm talking about the one that had the nice dicks, but they didn't explain them very well. They were very, very biased on what they were with some of them.
I don't recall what you're talking about.
You were drunk out of your gourd when we were looking at it, but it was funny.
Not surprising. It's almost like I only recently started sobering up or something.
Yeah. Well, that and it was December of last year?
December of last year or December of the year before?
No, November of. No, it was November of last year. You probably weren't plastered.
Might have been, but that would have been a an occurrence.
Huh. It could have also been one of the nights that you were frustrated, so you were shopping for dicks.
Thanks for telling everyone how I blow off steam.
What? I've done it too. I mean,
What was
hell,
what
we've shopped together.
we have? You never ordered the Admiral, did you?
No, sadly, I didn't. I'm going to, though.
Well, good luck to you. I mean, I you can cut this out if you want to, but would you go up a size based upon the yin?
Oh, yeah. I probably might actually get another copy of the Yin and get a bigger size.
Fair enough.
Because that Yin is nice. It's a nice starter. It's good to wet things down, but not really good for much else.
And welcome to the continuation of the episode of Don't Let Your Eyes Be Bigger Than Your Ass.
No, in this case, it would be
Uh,
smaller.
it's the exact opposite. I mean, you get a toy too big and you can't use it.
You get one that's too small or too soft, and you can't use it. I think this is going to be a segue into another because, well, I mean, actually, we could I forgot we started like 10 minutes into this, so
Did we start at 10 minutes on this one?
I think so, yeah. I know we've got a 15-minute one somewhere if it's saved. Oh,
and
uh,
going back to an earlier conversation point of the reason we missed an episode, you people do not know fear. You do not understand what true fear is until you are moving out of your house. You turn around and your father walks by carrying your box full of dicks.
I thought it was your mother. Oh, it would have
No, no,
been
no.
worse. It would have been worse if your dad would have looked in there.
My mother was not helping me move. It was my father. You do not know fear, and you can't react to that.
Trust me, I was on the phone with him roughly when it happened. I could hear the sound of his teeth just going.
And then I turn around and my brother is carrying 2 boxes full of fursuits.
Do they know anything about that? Anything about you being a furry?
My brother does
Okay, so your brother knows to some degree.
fairly well. Yeah,
Okay, so somebody
he
in your
probably has
family knows at least.
he probably has no idea how much money I have spent on this shit.
Probably not. And any sane individual will have looked at you and stared at you for a good 10 minutes if you ever told them.
Well, I met someone over the New Year holiday when I was hanging out with friends who he made me look tame because I have 4 suits in total. He has 7, 4 of which are full suits.
I mean, there was once the dude, like, I think 4 or 5 years ago, who supposedly had 13 or 14 suits.
I'm aware those people exist. 9 times out of 10, they have 13 or 14 suits. 3 of them are the same character in different versions.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm aware it's something that happens. In my case, my 4 suits being 3 partials and a full suit, and all the tails. As I said, people, it's not okay. I have a lot of tails. I like tails.
He's got more tails than Sonic.
To be fair, Sonic only has 1 tail, and it's a Nubbins.
No, but how often and how many porn comics have you seen where he gets tails?
No comment.
Ha!
Where he
Oh,
gets tails, Amy gets tails, Ro gets tails, Knuckles gets tail. I may have a list somewhere.
that poor fox gets passed around a little bit.
What's entertaining is when you find the erotica that just straight up builds off that, and that's Tails' kink is to just be passed around. All right,
Ooh, wait, one of these fucking episodes has gotta be us trying to read bad fan fiction.
that is entirely one you have to do live
We have to
with
do
a
that
chat
live.
going.
Yep, we
Kit and
have
I
to
have
make it a
discussed the future of this podcast.
we have to make an event out of this. We have so much in store for you guys. So hopefully you enjoy and hopefully anyways, anything else to say before we wrap up?
Vanilla gets tails, Robotnik gets tails.
There's a couple where Tails gets himself and one where I found where he gets a clone.
I think I've seen that one. If I recall correctly, it was a gender swapped clone
Uh-huh.
because it was strangely heteronormative.
A little bit, yeah. especially for the artist who was doing it.
Right? Once again, in the comments down below, you have to list all of the comics we have named here where the various characters get tails.
You just made somebody's day, but at the same time, you're about to out somebody for being really weird. Oh well, it's a furry thing.
Believe me, I've left off a couple of names of that in the context of the comments. In the context of the comics is one of those, oh no. No, 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 no. I know some of you have seen that comic. You can hear my 1,000 yard stare.
Ah. With that, this has been Kit and Rick, and bye bye.
Doodles all.